Longtime Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz once said success is best when it's shared. And ironically enough, that belief is center stage strategically within a recently announced partner of Starbucks that has the supplement industry buzzing. A few days ago, images started popping up on social media platforms that showed Starbucks in store signage giving customers the option of ordering nutritional blends that included AG1's green powder. And while that partnership didn't seem that far fetched at all to me, it did have many people in the comments questioning if the images were AI generated. I usually just chalk that up to it being a sign of the times where you can't trust anything you see on the internet, but it seemed a bit deeper than that. Admittedly, most of the social listening was conducted through Starbucks AG1 partnership posts and comments generated from what you'd kind of label as wellness CPG stakeholders and thus inherently skewed. But many were kind of quick to throw hate towards Starbucks, mostly over variants of its popular drinks containing high amounts of sugar. And you'd think these highbrow consumers wouldn't resort to mudslinging, but it seems most were willing to risk throwing the baby out with the bathwater regarding Starbucks' long-standing commitment to wellness. Yes, many of these Starbucks drinks can contain a lot of sugar when not customized, but for the last 20ish years, Starbucks has been educating customers on the wealth of options for beverage customization and personalization. Moreover, Starbucks has continually evolved the components of that infinite optionality to stay current with health and wellness trends. Oh, and by the way, I'm not some Starbucks stan trying to stick up for a $100 billion company either. In fact, I don't even drink coffee at all and dislike even going into a Starbucks store because of the smell. Also, before you kind of turn the assumptions around and think I'm supported by or have a consulting project history with Athletic Greens, we can shut that down too. I might actually be one of the only content creators that can claim that right now. But more on that a bit later in this content. Sticking with the Starbucks AG1 partnership though, at least at the time of recording this content, you won't find much information within legacy news outlets or trade publications. And that's likely because one, it's a small test currently in 4 markets, and two, I haven't seen Starbucks themselves put out any information on the AG1 partnership. The only verifiable information on the Starbucks AG1 partnership has come from the Athletic Greens social media accounts, confirming that the images were in fact real, and the supplement brand CEO, Kat Cole, providing some additional details within a few of the most popular social media posts on LinkedIn. Beyond the test market location details, Kat Cole also confirmed that they're testing 3 different Starbucks AG1 nutritional blends product variants, 2 of which are low sugar. Moreover, she added that it's not a terrible thing for Starbucks to test more healthful and low sugar items on the menu, which was likely a read between the lines insult pointed to the haters in the comments that somehow extrapolated sugary Starbucks drinks, now also confirmed AG1 was garbage by association. But in my opinion, this collaborative move, even if it's only a test right now, is further confirmation of AG1 doubling down on a competitive advantage. And while AG1 does a lot of impressive stuff strategically that I could honestly talk about for hours, this piece of content will be focused on analyzing a few of its partnership strategies. So since we have already started on the Starbucks partnership, let's close the loop on that one first. Now, there's a handful of things I instantly thought of when seeing those social media images, but maybe the most impactful one was how these are 2 brands that both want to be associated with morning routine. Habits are a powerful force of human nature, and great brands know that becoming a part of a consumer's routine can be one of the most effective ways to create brand loyalty. Additionally, and maybe most obviously, this enables AG1 to get mass awareness and trial opportunities. It will reach many consumers that currently see mixing up a powdered supplement at home consistently as a major friction point. So these AG1 Starbucks drinks address a growing consumer demand around functional beverages, but in a more approachable, convenient manner. And even though this is a tiny test collab compared to a full store rollout, thus not materially impacting the reportedly $600 million in revenue that AG1 will generate this year, it could elevate the brand profile, especially considering what I'll mention at the end of this content. But moving on to another brand collaboration, AG1 announced in mid-August that it had partnered with Whoop, a extremely popular 24/7 wearable that tracks your sleep, strain, stress, recovery, and more to help you reach your goals. The exclusive offer included a sleek AG1 green Whoop band that initially sold out in hours, which will absolutely become a powerful wellness signaler. And that tidbit shouldn't be overlooked because it's important to understand that consumers, especially millennials, often purchase products not only for what they do, but also for what they mean. But speaking of what AG1 does, it's obviously a daily foundational nutrition supplement that nourishes your whole body with just one scoop. But this partnership actually helps solve a major challenge around the green supplement category, especially AG1. And that's because there's this consumer trust aspect that comes into play when taking these daily foundational nutrition supplements. Yes, there's usually studies to utilize for structure function claims on specific vitamin, minerals, ingredients, or maybe even in the case of AG1, studies on the actual finished good that establish credibility, but you can't typically feel multivitamins or a green supplement working. And maybe that's okay when you have a product that's under $1 a serving, but maybe not so much when AG1 costs about $100 a month. But with Whoop, you can track over 140 different habits and behaviors like supplements and dietary choices to see how they impact your performance and overall health. Finally, and this is similar to what I just mentioned around the power of routines, but the Whoop AG1 partnership is focused on coming together to become the ultimate foundation for creating better daily wellness habits. Next, let's shift out of the brand partnerships and talk about AG1's Influencer Partnerships Masterclass. And this is where that earlier joke comes into play because AG1 spends millions, if not tens of millions of dollars monthly on a wide array of diverse content creators across various genres that leverage many different mediums to resonate with a multitude of audiences. Yes, AG1 partners with the typical high profile wellness experts and global sports superstars, but it's the strategic collaborations with creators that have more diverse audience segments like personal finance and self improvement that are, in my opinion, the most intriguing as they can ensure AG1 has maximum reach and engagement. And size doesn't seem to matter here either, as AG1 implements countless authentic partnerships with smaller creators who are also avid consumers of their products. Similarly, it's hard to listen to even a single popular podcast today without it being sponsored by Athletic Greens. In fact, AG1 works with hundreds of podcasters at any given moment, mostly with audiences that are filled with consumers in the brand sweet spot intersections of taking ownership of their health, their personal finances, and or their relationships. And though its roster is large, AG1 podcast partnerships are all about playing the long game because it oftentimes takes numerous mentions before an audience can even get familiar with a brand. And to kind of like layer on the previous influencer partnership strategy, AG1 prefers to work with podcasters across platforms instead of building brand trust and awareness with the podcast alone. But for this final portion of the content, I want to talk about the competitive but still very much nascent green supplement market and how that supplement category's evolution or kind of maturation could impact the next moves by Athletic Greens. So maybe it's best to share some previous thoughts that I had within a content from mid-January of 2024. Over the last 7 to 10 years, the supplement industry has undergone an enormous shift in marketplace dynamics. It's like this huge pot that's melding together things like an overall mainstreaming effect in consumer intents around active lifestyles. And it's that broader appeal that's disseminating the supplement categories across all large retail channels. This kind of incubated within the supplement industry brands have started to directly or indirectly steal share from conventional market leaders up and down the categorical scoreboard. So now these large food and beverage CPG portfolios see these supplement extensions performing at similar high frequency and repeat rates. They then pair that growing categorical format comfort with the fact that it offers a more favorable margin profile and stronger digital penetration, and things start to get interesting. I do believe, regardless, that the green supplement market is primed for investment over the next few years from the large food and beverage CPG brand portfolios. I think this is driven by them finally realizing, maybe because of the GLP 1 weight loss shock, that modern American life constantly messes with our ability to achieve even a fraction of the wellness standards we set. Thus, to achieve those health, fitness, and body image goals, consumers will increasingly look to fill nutrient gaps with supplements. It started with the largest multivitamin companies being acquisition targets. Then the next wave were meal replacement brands, and soon it will be with green supplement powders. So maybe you can guess where I'm going to go next with this content, but the brand CEO recently appeared on a popular CNBC weekday financial news program before the stock markets opened to essentially confirm everything I previously mentioned. She stated that AG1 is in a fortuitous position because of one, GLP-1 second order effects, and two, how modern lifestyles create challenges around eating a nutrient dense diet. But it's that mainstream financial TV news program appearance, which is abnormal for a supplement brand to do, that more importantly signal to me that AG1 is showing its availability and interest to private market deal makers and the public capital markets. A little over 2.5 years ago, Athletic Greens raised $115 million in funding that valued the supplement brand above the $1 billion mark. As mentioned earlier, AG1 is reportedly profitable and on pace to reach $600 million in revenue this year, a number that's around 4 times its 2021 revenue number. Moreover, this funding has helped Athletic Greens make progress with all of its bookmarked need areas like expanding global operations, strategic retail opportunities, and more significant brand marketing. Maybe the only investment area left is also the riskiest for Athletic Greens, which would be to expand into new products or formats beyond the 50th something iteration of the flagship AG1 product. Before the Starbucks partnership, I think most pundits assumed the next significant product decision would come from Athletic Greens extending into an RTD beverage format. But while I'm not privy to the nuance or the defensibility of this patent pending IP, I do believe the shelf stable RTD green supplement beverage is protected and would require a licensing agreement or a complete buyout. Yet, strategy is at its highest impact when you also consider timing and cadence of decisions. It's not always about pushing as fast as you can at all times. So, even without that format extension, Athletic Greens shouldn't have any issues unlocking that next liquidity move, mostly because the brand and category is red hot with a great deal of upside left, but also that the brand in the category has a low household penetration that should improve greatly over the long haul. But I hope you enjoyed the first principles thinking that went into my latest YouTube video. If you did, can you do me a favor by hitting that like button? That quick and free action helps YouTube know my content is worth spreading to more people. Also, we're getting really close to reaching my next subscriber goal, and it would be great if you join me on this journey. But to do that, we need to fix the fact that slightly more than 3/4 of you that are watching this video right now are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, and that hurts my feelings. Regardless, I want to thank you for giving me some of your attention and time, and I'll see you on the next one.